You know, letting go of the past sometimes is the hardest thing people can do because they hold it as a grudge against what somebody has done to them or a I can't, perceived wrong. It's all about somebody's perception. But, a lot of people have, I'm always talking about childhood traumas because childhood traumas is what shape us. You know, it's what make us feel like who we are. But in actuality, that's not who we are. It's just what we saw growing up and what we thought was supposed to happen because that's what the adults who played the lives that we mimic our lives after showed us. And so we thought we want to be like them instead of being like us because we didn't know because we was kids. So we wanted to be like them. We wanted that life. We wanted that life. We wanted to be like that car, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I just had some issue with my tooth just recently, so I'm going to have to spit. Anyway, that's another story. But anyway, thing is letting go. You have to let go of what you perceive somebody to have done to you because in growing up, you've had things happen to you, whether it be by family members, siblings, how somebody treated you, made you feel in that moment. And as you grow up, because you've held on to that grudge, or they even made you make a decision that you feel like you didn't want to make, but because you listened and respected that person, you did that, took you in a different direction, whereas your life could have been something else, but you chose to listen to this person instead of going with what you felt, what God was telling you, or nudging you to do. Which you feel that on the soul level, but most people bypass that and go with what somebody else say instead of going with their gut. And then they're making the wrong decisions because God gave us free will. And so in those things and doing those things, and that could be growing up in school or whatever it may be, whatever you're perceived wrong or you're feeling attached to a situation that has haunted you, stunted you throughout your life and now affects you in your adulthood, which sometimes you don't even notice that it does. That's why you act a certain way when certain situations happen. But it all goes back to that moment as the reason why you're acting like this. And for an example, I say, like maybe you was with a girl or whatever, or you was with a guy, and that dude did you really dirty because you really loved him. I'm a woman, so I'll say man. You really loved him, but he was doing you so dirty, did you just dirty, and you continued to show love, you know what I mean? Yeah, you were wrong about it, but you thought that your love would make him see the beauty in you, but no. So you stayed and got played and got hurt or whatever, deceived, and you vowed to never let somebody do you like that again, so you put a wall up. But when putting that wall up, you really kind of blocked off love because you didn't let it go because everybody ain't the same. See what I'm saying? So sometimes you just gotta let situations go. Or sometimes, like, another situation, like, somebody persuades you, like I said, to do something that you don't want to do. Your mom may have you say, no, I think you should marry this one over here. This is gonna be better for you, and that might be better for your mama, but your mama ain't the one getting married. You see what I'm saying? She ain't the one that's gotta wake up with this person. And if you acting like my mama, I ain't trying to wake up with my mama every day. You know what I mean? So, but you continue to go this way because your mama, you feel like she know you better than, I don't know, I guess you feel like she know you better than you, but I never felt that way about mine. So my mama can persuade me like that. But people have those persuasions. And so they go with what their mama say. And it don't work out for them. So, hey, it is what it is. You got to let go. You got to feel like, why am I listening to her? What about me? Well, I don't think I'm good. Why am I listening to my mama? So you got to let go of certain things and find the root of the problem. You got to ask your question. Why? People used to trip out on me because I ask questions about everything. Everything. Because I always want to know. I want to know to where I get an understanding, to where I feel good about it. And if that annoy you, I'm sorry. Don't answer the question. I'll leave. I can tell you getting annoyed. I'll move around. But anyway, letting go. I had to let go of a lot of things in my life to get to the point where I am today. And we all do. And sometimes, just recently, I thought that I was good, because like I say, I love God. I don't mean people no harm. I try to do good by everybody. You know what I mean? I don't retaliate on people, never have. I've only had 2 fights in my life, you know what I mean? And that's when I was first grade, second grade. Now, have I come close to fights? Yes. Where I felt like I was justified most of the time, those fights, I've only, my ex-husband tried to fight me once. I tried because he didn't succeed either because God interrupted that plan big time. So that's the only time I've had with love. Now I've had some guys do some crazy shit. Like I had one guy put a drink in my face. I was like, this is what's supposed to happen to. This is what a girl does to a guy, not what a guy does to a girl. That type of shit. I was like, oh my God. I just started laughing about that shit. Oh, that's another story. And then one other time, what did a guy do that I thought was hilarious? I don't remember, but it was some shit like, this is what a girl does to a guy, not what a guy does to a girl type shit. And they wasn't no punks. I was like, dude, what? But growing up, most of the time, I was that girl who was like, how guys, and I didn't dog nobody out. It's just that I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I was good to you until you wasn't good to me. And when you wasn't good to me, you pick up on the signs. And so instead of wanting to hurt you because you're trying to hurt me, I'm just going to detach and move away, because I don't want to hurt you. And I damn sure don't want you to hurt me, but I already see it starting to happen. So that means we need to separate. You know what I mean? That's how I feel because I love peace. I don't like drama. I don't like my nervous system to be out of whack. So I'm quick to be like, okay, well, I showed you who I am, but before I let you destroy me, I'm gonna have to remove myself. And so it was easy for me to let go. And most time, like they used to say, it's so funny. For a woman, she most of the time detached from the situation before she actually leaves. So she heals herself while she's there, and then she put up, peace out. This nigga ain't gonna never do right. Let me just go on and go. You know what I mean? Most women with people learning themselves will try to elevate because if they strong within themselves, they ain't trying to let somebody hurt them because that shit don't feel good. And so I've never been that one. I love somebody till I feel like, hey, you trying to take all of me, and that's enough for me. You're not understanding. You're not understanding what this could be. So it's time for me to go. And when I say I'm done, I'm one of those. When I'm done, I'm done. Because I done showed you, I gave you my all. But before you take me down, I'm gonna have to let you go. So it's easy for me to detach and let go. And I don't know if I just learned that in growing up because my life wasn't the greatest. My mom, typical mom, she had me young and stuff. So I saw a lot of shit with the people she dealt with. I had a sister, sibling robbery type shit, jealousy. But I love my sister, don't get it twisted. She's there for me whenever I need her. But you know how it go. She was the pretty one. So I was made to feel. I'll put it like that. So letting go of all those things and learning life process, you have to let go of all that childhood trauma. I was molested by a close relative, you know what I'm saying? But I got over that, and that started when I was young age. But I got over it by talking about it and not letting that hold me captive, you know what I mean? But in that moment, I was like the one, like I said, I was always dating. People was always attracted to me, I guess, because I love people. I'm always nice to people. I always want to see the best for people. It's always been my character. I'm not trying to do you dirty. I feel like if I'm up, you up. You know what I mean? We together, we working together, My kids, once I had my first son, I went in because I knew how I wanted my kids to be raised. I knew what type of kids I wanted, if that makes sense. So, so when I had my first one, I went in hard in the paint. As soon as my son got there, I think he turned 1 year old, I was in school. Because I knew I did not want to have to try to live on no system. I knew what the government offered, and I was going to utilize that shit. And in order for me to utilize it to get where the finish go, I knew that shit was going to be hard. But I knew at the end, it was going to make a better life for me and my boys. And sure enough, I prayed at God to, oh my God, and y'all, when I was almost done, okay, that goes back with my vengeance is mine, said the Lord. When I was almost done with school, there was this little old lady that was a teacher in the place where we would go and do our clinicals at. She was just on me for no reason. I didn't even understand why this old lady, old white lady, I He ain't saying no colorism. And I'm just me. I don't sugarcoat shit. I always be truthful about shit. And people just don't, I don't know what it is. It's just people. But I love everybody. I'm going to treat you good. I didn't have no animosity for that old lady, but I wasn't never snappy, ugly, or nothing. Respected her in a sense because she was my teacher. She just did not like me, always coming at me, always trying to make me look bad and for my other teachers. And just like, why? I'm doing my job. The people that I'm working with like it because I do know what I'm doing because I've been doing it. Anyway, the lady tried to, I don't know what she was doing, but she was messing with me through my clinical part. And one day we had all got in the elevator, and here she come, and she was a big old white lady. And she might was not big, but she wasn't little. She come running to the elevator, and she slipped and fell. I said, oh my God. And the elevator door just closed in front of her face. And we know she hurt herself because she was an old lady. And that floor was hard concrete. She wasn't our teacher and a clinical instructor no more. We got this nice lady that came in the next to help us. She was such a nice lady. And I had no more issues, God is so good. I'm telling you, that don't sound right to say. But this lady was tormenting me, and I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything to her. She was tormenting me, and the teacher was kind of tormenting me too. I don't know what their problem was, but there was some, I don't know, but they were like old white ladies. I don't know. But anyway, I never had a problem with it no more and graduated with no problem. But you gotta let stuff go. People gonna act, people gonna do stuff, but you can't hold grudges because when you be mad at people, that's not your growth. You gotta give it to God. Pray about it. I started praying, and God worked it out. Because I was like, I'm almost done, Lord. And they always say, everything happens. The devil started to get you right when you're at the finish line. That was my last semester. And I had been in school for almost 3 years because my son was 1. Yeah, so almost 3 years where I had been in school from beginning to the end because I had never been to college. And I was, I think I had my son like when I was 22. So at this time I started when I was 23. Yeah. So I think I graduated like when I was 25, 26, 26, something like that. Oh my God. But I made it through. I thank God, and it provided me a beautiful life. My kids grew up in the same house. I bought a house, and they grew up in it. God is good, y'all. You have to let go of stuff, because in order for you to get your divine inheritance, you gotta trust Him. No matter what comes your way, you gotta let it go. You gotta see it for what it is, because when you coming for your big breakthrough, the devil gonna throw all type of stuff at you. But you gotta be able to trust God and let it go. And that starts with you learning who you are on a soul level. Not who your mama and them are. And you gotta forgive your mama and them. Your mama and your daddy, if your daddy wasn't in your life. Because my daddy wasn't in mine. My mom, she didn't know, And if you had a grandma like mine, you was thankful. If you had a family like mine, you was thankful. Because my family, they shiesty too, everybody, but we still family. My grandmother brought us up to be family, We know who each other are. We know how we can trust each other. She brought us up in that aspect, But she brought us up in love. Our mamas couldn't do it at the time because they was young mamas of young daddies, They was learning who they were. But our grandmother, those who grew up around her, was able to bring us up in that way to where we could decipher things. She brought us up on how to work, how to love, how to treat each other even, She didn't interfere either, but she did try to instill a lot of things in us that our mothers couldn't, because she was already wise when we came along, and we was with her every summer. But you have to let things go because they don't know. And so when I got older, I learned from taking care of my kids. Okay, my mama, she did the best she could, and my mama was for me, I learned she was on the Carmicky side. So me growing up, I was like, I'm not trying to raise my kids like this. I'm not. So I knew what I wanted. How I wanted to be treated as a child, and I tried to make sure my kids felt that. Did I do the best? Yes. Do they feel like it? You know how kids are. But I was a single parent holding down a whole house and household. And we ate good by the grace of God. He took care of us. Everything that's good ain't easy. And everything that's easy ain't good. So, you know, you have to watch the company you keep. And when you learn your lesson, you got to be able to let it go. Because in letting it go, you let go of the hate in yourself for that person. You forgive them. They ain't got to forgive you. You forgive them for the action. So you let it go. You don't have to have them to come to you directly and ask for your forgiveness, because you done already gave it to them. And in that lies the irony, because they'll sit over there and suffer for themselves eventually, if they maybe have a conscience, or maybe, who knows, who am I to say what it is? But you don't worry about that. You doing it for yourself, because you can't elevate if you're still mad about something, how somebody made you feel, how somebody treated you. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your little doggy. Anyway, yeah, because you'll be mad at that dog because he snapped at you once. And he'll feel that you don't like him, because he won't know why, because he might have done it for whatever he felt like the reason is. I'm not a dog, I can't say. But he don't do it all the time. You have to train him to be not to do that. So, crack that how it resonates, I guess, because I'm dealing with my doggy right now. He a good dog, but I don't keep him all the time. My kids do. But he like me. But when my grandkids come over, he try to be snapping. I have to be like, y'all better get him. But try not to hold that against him, because he is a little doggy. He don't know no better. He a dog. I just want to say doggy. Ooh, Lordy have mercy, it's funny. Dogs. But anyway, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. Because in letting it go, that's how you... Because what would Jesus do? They say what? Jesus turned the other cheek. Ain't that what they say he did? You forgive them. You don't have to be around them. You just know how to handle them. You know how to deal with them. You see them for who they are. And you deal accordingly. And you should do that in all aspects of your life. And that in turn is by letting go of what the situation or what they did to you. Anyway, y'all, I think I've gone this a little too long. I've hammered the point in, I suppose. Because in letting go, you let God take control. You release it. You don't hold on to the bitter or the anger, because that's the most important part. Because you being mad about the situation, it makes your soul, your spirit dirty. And that's the aura you put out, and that's what comes to you, because you're already mad inside. So you get more of it, and it builds up and builds up. And you look around your life, and it's just ill. It's not what you wanted. But it's because you ain't let go. You never grew past that part. So let it go, whatever it is. As far back as you can remember, even if it's 5 years old, if you can remember that far, somebody done you wrong, let it go. Let it go. Surrender to God. Because everything is meant for you, not to you. We come here to learn lessons. And one of the biggest ones is to let it go. Get out the past. Because the past is the past. That's why it's the past. Live for today and be grateful for it, because tomorrow even is not guaranteed. So let go of the past. Live for today and hope for a better future for yourself in God, and have faith. Because with love is the answer to all things. Because God loves us. And he lets go every time we don't do right. Meaning, he forgives us. He don't hold it, So let go of the past. Love. Make this world a better place for you and me. Well, oh my God, that's We Are the World. That is... I was going to say Man in the Mirror. I done pulled out We Are the World. Well, we are the world. Let it all go. Surrender to God. And let's love people. Till next time. Bye-bye.